Everyone should very cautiously execute devotional service by rigidly following regulative principles. So these regulative principles, the basic principle is to accept everything favorable for Krishna consciousness and reject everything unfavorable. That's the basic regulative principle. And then from there are corollaries. The conditioned soul who's struggling with the desire for sense gratification, this will be favorable for Krishna consciousness to accept some rules, like no meat, fish, or eggs, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sexual activity, to help control the senses. These things are regulated, and it's not that there's no eating, but there's eating by offering food to Krishna and taking the remnants. And it's not that there's no intoxication. There is intoxication by drinking the nectar of the holy names, very intoxicating. Attending festivals where there's a lot of kirtan, very intoxicating. Associating with advanced devotees is very intoxicating. Engaging in book distribution and preaching is very intoxicating. So it's not that there's no intoxication. There's intoxication. Devotional service is not dry. And it's not that there's no sex. There is. But it's regulated and controlled. And it's for producing nice children in Krishna consciousness, and raising them nicely. So that's there. But these sensual activities they're like lower energy. Lower energy. I want to raise the energy. I want to raise our energy to the devotional platform. And by accepting some external disciplines under the direction of a pure devotee, a spiritual master, by accepting these regulations and these rules, then the senses can be controlled, and then we can go from the lower energy to the higher energy. Come out of the base, gross engagements which bind the living entity to material identification with the material body, because it's desiring to enjoy and taste, and by having that desire to enjoy and taste through the material senses, and bound to the material world, bound to the cycle of birth and death, and all the attendant miseries that come with the three modes of material nature, in forgetfulness of one's spiritual nature, part and parcel of Krishna. So by accepting some rules and some discipline and penances and austerities, whatever, then one gains access to the higher taste, which has nothing to do with the material body at all. So it's a gradual process, little bit, for most people. Some people can just right away, because perhaps in previous lives made a lot of advancement, they just pick right up where they left off. But for most people, especially in Kali Yuga, and Lord Chaitanya's movement just recently being introduced, only a few hundred years ago. So the process for this age is the chanting of the holy names, especially Sankirtan. So it can be gradual. You have to be patient. What is it? Patient, determined, and confident. And wait on the mercy of the Lord. But we don't change the philosophy. Because something is difficult, we don't say there's something wrong with the philosophy and then make something up on our own. Oh, somehow the teachings in the philosophy they're deficient, or they're outdated, or they're not relevant to today. We don't do that. No. We just see that it's a gradual process for some of us. And we just keep practicing and endeavoring with confidence, determination, and patience. And gradually, the purification begins to take place. This is the great benefit of having the association of the pure devotees and the sincere followers. So we're so fortunate that His Divine Grace, for the short period that He was traveling around the planet, was like a whirlwind of Krishna consciousness. So practically speaking, everywhere He went, the deities appeared. And devotees appeared. Sincere disciples appeared. And it's a pretty amazing whirlwind in only a few years. It was like the whole planet was seeded with Krishna consciousness. And His writings are available, giving us access to the great line of disciplic succession and all the great acharyas. He's given us access to the whole line of disciplic succession. So that's where it's at. So much for liberation. It's not attractive to a devotee at all. Just to strive for liberation, to desire not to desire. Oh, what is that? No, no way. So they desire to enter into relationship with the Lord through devotion, devotional service. And the Lord is very pleased by that desire, because that's also His desire. So the two desires mesh. Very nice. Text 5. O Lord, although you are completely detached from the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this material world, and are not directly affected by these activities, they're all attributed to you. We do not wonder at this, for your inconceivable energies perfectly qualify you to be the cause of all causes. You are the active principle in everything, although you are separate from everything. Thus we can realize that everything is happening because of your inconceivable energy. Yeah, inconceivable energy, the cause of all causes, is completely detached from the creation, maintenance, annihilation of the material world. He's not affected by the activities, but they're attributed to Him. It's beyond the material creation. Text 6. At the end of the millennium, ignorance personified assumed the form of a demon and stole all the Vedas and took them down to the planet of Rasatala. Supreme Lord, however, in His form of Hayagriva, retrieved the Vedas, returned them to Lord Brahma when he begged for them. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord, whose determination never fails. Wow. demon stole all the Vedas, took them to Rasatala Loka. Ah, goodness. Prabhupada's commentary. Although Vedic knowledge is imperishable, within this material world it sometimes manifests and sometimes not. When the people of this material world become too absorbed in ignorance, Vedic knowledge disappears. Lord Hayagriva or Lord Matsya, however, always protect Vedic knowledge, and in due course of time it's again distributed through the medium of Lord Brahma. Brahma is the trustworthy representative of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, when he again asked for the treasure of Vedic knowledge, the Lord fulfilled his desire. Yeah, I don't seem to have a lot of information about the demon who stole the Vedic knowledge and took it to Rasatala Loka, but we do have the pastime of Matsya, when the Lord incarnated as a fish. We're going to read about that later. And he appeared from the nostril. No, that's the boar. The fish first appeared as a very small fish, and then to one of the Manus. Yeah, anyway, we're going to read about that pastime in more detail later. But it was a partial devastation, if I'm remembering correctly. Lord Brahma took a little nap, unexpected and unannounced. He dozed off. And when he did that, there was a partial devastation of the universes. It started flooding. The universe started flooding in devastation. The waters of devastation came flooding in. He fell asleep. It was unscheduled. He just dozed off. And so in order to protect the Vedas personified, the Lord incarnated as a giant fish, and all the Vedas were in a boat, and the Lord guided this boat through the waters of devastation as this giant fish. So it's going to be fun to read about that too later. So evidently there was a demon who, at another point in time, says at the end of the Kalpa, stole the Vedic knowledge. Okay, text 7. Sukadeva Goswami continued, My dear king, Lord Nrsingadev resides in the tract of land known as Harivarsa. Okay, so this is another Varsa. Ilavrita Varsa is Lord Shiva worshipping Shankarshan. Bhadrashva Varsa is Bhadrashva and his associates worshipping Hayagriva. And now we're going to hear about the tract of land known as Harivarsa, where Lord Nrsingadev resides. In the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, I shall describe to you how Prahlad Maharaj caused the Lord to assume the form of Nrsingadev. Prahlad Maharaj, the topmost devotee of the Lord, is a reservoir of all the good qualities of great personalities. His character and activities have delivered all the fallen members of the demoniac family. Lord Nrsingadev is very dear to this exalted personality. Thus, Prahlad Maharaj, along with his servants and all the denizens of Harivarsa, worships Lord Nrsingadev by chanting the following mantra.